Stuart, can you unmute yourself?
Unmuted, sir.
Unmute.
Ready to
Beautiful. All right, guys. So welcome to session 3. We're nearly there. We've had some absolute gold from Jeff. We've had absolute gold coming from Michael Griffiths, and I'm sure we're about to get absolute gold now from Stuart George from CKP Creative. Stuart has been with Be Connecting World for a couple of years now. Is our resident marketing expert, speaks every second Thursday night at our Be Connecting Networking. Also hosts our Brisbane meeting up there as well. Now, the only thing I've got written here is Stuart provides creative digital solutions for businesses, startups to establish websites, branding and tools so you can grow and navigate the digital landscape together. But that is just a fraction of what he does. Stuart, all yours, sir.
Brilliant. Well, I'm just going to share my screen. Can you all see the share? Brilliant. Excellent. So what we're going to talk about today is big mistakes that 90% of businesses are making online and things that you can do to flip that around, because that's what we're all about. And so let's dive in and have a quick look. So a bit of an overview. We're going to go through what's missing. Why should you even worry? A few of the nuts and bolts, not too many, because I've got to save some of those for Jay. And then we're going to move on to a bit of a Q&A, should you have any questions whatsoever. So just to speed everything up, I'm going to hide myself. This is what I look like, just in case you forgot. Okay, so we're marching forward. Now, let's dive into, that's me. Now, exactly as the very, very good gentleman there mentioned before, that's how you can connect with me online. LinkedIn, it is brilliant. Now, here we go into what are you actually missing? What's going on? So you don't know what you don't know. Typically, that's what's going on. That's why you're here. I'd love to answer some of those questions for you. But the biggest thing is, are you even showing up? That's the whole thing. Now, in today's world, everybody is moving super fast. It is getting even faster. Here we are, 2025, when they announced some of the movies saying this is coming in 2025 in the Marvel universe. I said straight away, that's the future. That's just, and look, it's here. It's actually happening right now. But the thing is, people are getting even more impatient, but they're getting more educated at the same time too, because they know that they can communicate with you online. So it's all about showing up. You need to be found, but when you're found, you need to show up in the right way. So when people search, you need to show up as well. So imagine you've just finished a lovely meeting with somebody and they dive in and they look and they can't find you. What if your spelling's wrong? I came across a client recently where they've got a plural issue. When you search for one plural, they show up. When you put an S, when you actually put an S on their name, they show up more. So those things are mission critical. So it really is. Are you visible online? You must be showing up. So it is not a problem to go and Google yourself. I highly recommend that you Google yourself often. Okay. And so here's the thing. If you don't show up, more than 25% of consumers that have been surveyed recently in the ongoing surveys that happened with the Telstra Business Survey say that they won't even consider a business if they can't find you, if they can't find a website. There are other things like your Google business profile as well. Oh my goodness, that's ignored. We will go into that shortly as well, but you really do need to show up. And everybody's expectations have changed. People are getting more and more impatient. So you have to have a quick response to their queries. Then, oh my goodness, you need to follow up. Okay. And you need to take notes. Okay. All right. That's the most important thing. An effective business takes notes. And thank you for bringing that up. There we go. Somebody in the audience that takes notes and writes things down is a brilliant thing. And then 81% of all customers are using reviews. So if you don't have a Google business profile, how are they supposed to go and read your wonderful reviews? Okay. Now it's march forward. What about your brand? Is your brand consistent? Go ahead, Google yourself. Does your old brand show up? Does the thing that you made or you had made on Fiverr show up? Okay. Here we go. Quick story. Builder driving into the city, drove past a giant building. Guess what they saw on the outside scrims of the building? Their own logo. Why? Because both of these businesses used Fiverr and they used the same logo. Well, lawyers ensued. good fun and good luck to everybody involved. I hope they resolve that. Okay. Now, a brand builds trust, drives recognition, shows your value. It will attract clients if it's there and if it looks good, and you don't want it to repel. And consistency, you've got to show up, use your colors, use your brand. It needs to show up everywhere. There is a who knows, okay, you can shout out, okay, who knows what that swiggle is underneath the Coca-Cola logo? Anybody know? You can shout out. If you know, you're going to win a prize. You'll win your own car. Okay, does anybody know? Okay, if you don't, it's called the dynamic ribbon. That dynamic ribbon looks the same everywhere. The font looks the same everywhere. Coca-Cola, you will not see that appear anywhere different. They have guidelines a mile long. It is out of control. That way, it's consistent right across the board and globally as well. Okay, so here we go. More questions. What are these mistakes that you told us about? You know, we've got online visibility. We've got some extra things: user experience, conversion optimization, lack of integration, performance security. Let's push on. Here we go. So all of these things will be revealed shortly. Here we go. Let's dive in. Just some of these top mistakes. No user experience. People land on your website. They don't know how to even connect with you. They can't find your phone number. One of the biggest issues that has been resolved in some of the leading airlines out there is the fact that you couldn't even find their phone number. Well, guess what? These phone numbers are being revealed now. And quite often, just like the major business I rang this morning, there's no operator. It's manned by AI or personed by AI, or in fact, inhabited by AI. Now, I tell you what, depending on the business, that might be okay, but there's nothing better than a friendly voice and a human connection. This is why everybody is turning back to in-person events. Hello, Be Connected World. That's what we're doing. We've got in-person events and we're here online, but we can be personable online as well. It is brilliant. Human connection, as spoken about earlier as well, is vital. Okay. So businesses just don't have any marketing. It's a void. People go and look for them and they have got no idea what they're doing. If you can take a tiny percentage of how the American market behaves and how much they appear everywhere, and they will tell you everything they've done, what they're doing, what they're having for breakfast, what they're having for breakfast next week. If we as Australians take a tiny percentage of that and get out there and tell people what we're doing and share stories, we're heading in a good path. Okay. So this is businesses just don't even have any marketing whatsoever. Ignored database and no follow-ups. My goodness, the surprise and delight that I had from a client who sent through a email, an email appeared. It went into my CRM, alerted me, the whole thing, an autoresponder went out, and then lo and behold, I rang them up, and all of this happened within a short space of time. And they said, wow, this never happens. You're the only person who I've actually went out to and connected to who's rung me up. I really appreciate it. Next, we booked in a meeting, and yes, we're now doing the work for them. That's what it's all about. Don't ignore your existing database. Reach out, connect with them. You've got to follow up with them as well, and you've got to be fast. Okay. Now, here's another thing: not visible. I keep saying this. It is so important. And there's no SEO. That stands for search engine optimization, but it expands across multiple things, including your Google business profile as well. Your Google business profile is part of your local SEO. Okay, and I know there's somebody in the room that absolutely swears by them as well. We do too. They are brilliant. Okay, now slow websites, bad customer service, big mistake. Okay, absolutely big mistake. But you can fix these things by having a CRM, by having systems, as Jeff alluded to, and by being personal and connecting with people. And you can have a fast website. It is brilliant. There are settings, but you've got to speak to people and do it in the right fashion and have the right systems. And look at this as well. No security, no legal considerations. Okay. Did you know it is you actually have to have terms and conditions and privacy policies on your website. It's literally the law. You have to have these things. And I know that we've got a legal collaborative party along here with Be Connected World who will say exactly the same thing. This is it. You've got to have these areas in place. Otherwise, you're going to put yourself in bother. You're putting your clients at risk. And if there's no security on your website as well, you're putting them all at risk. And we know data breaches are huge. So you've got to have all of these things. These are some of the mistakes. Okay. Now, here we go. When people go and look for your business, they've got to be able to understand what you do. In your messaging that appears everywhere, there has to be balance, there has to be clarity, and there's got to be a message. It's really important, okay? So, and some people like Emma, for example, Thrive Bookkeeping. Wow, great name, okay? Brilliant, because what will bookkeeping allow you to do? It will allow you to thrive. Anybody that sees our logo, we say, business solutions, digital business solutions. That's it. There's no confusing elements there as well. That's our prime and top message there as well. And this is it. It is all about being clear with everything you put forth as well. When people go to search for you, you must have that balance, clarity, and you must have a message and lead with the message. Really, really important. Okay, marching forth now. Okay, so here's the thing. You know what you need to do? Do a gap analysis, as I said, an audit, Google yourself. Are you showing up? Are you actually on multiple pages on Google? I know, and I go back and regularly check this as well, that yes, we do. And if people look for my name, I even say, I'm really easy to find online. Just look for my name and you'll see that I'm showing up. Why? Because I've taken the time and it is not difficult. You just need to put the time in. As mentioned before with LinkedIn, 20 minutes a day, putting content out, being present, showing up, taking opportunities like I have here to come and present, vitally important. So go out there, do your own audit. If you're stuck and you want help, there are people out there and you can certainly connect with me and we can do a gap analysis. We can do an audit and have a look at exactly what's going on. There's people in the room that have done this process with us as well. Okay, really important. Now, your website needs to look consistent across the board. This is a global credit platform that we were lucky enough to be involved with. We did their branding, we designed their website, and it's consistent right across the board. And it is, in fact, you've got to look at, there's a whole complex process around this. We take care of all of this as well, where you get that consistency right across the board on every different device and every different orientation. When you turn your phone sideways, it needs to look good. So, and that's really, really important. So if you're doing your own work, it's a bit of a risk. It's going to be time consuming. I'll talk about that as well. But you need to make sure that this vital element is actually burnt right into your website. It needs to be actually mobile responsive, because people are searching on a mobile first. Then they'll get home and they'll look you up on their laptop. They'll see you first, and it's really, really quick for people to look you up in the device that's already in their hand. It is brilliant. Okay, so then when they're on your website, as I just said, mobile first, incredibly important. The user experience is so critical in today's business and in next year's business and the years going forth as well. Headlines on your copy. People need to know what you're doing. You need to lead with that message. When they're working through your website, right, the navigation has to be right there. Things have to fall under their fingers. It has to be easy. The menus that pop out and pop back in again, all right? That is such a big problem. If you don't have a well-constructed navigation on your website and people can't step through and find the things they want quickly, they're out of there. And you have seconds to do this. Seconds. The branding on your website and everywhere needs to be consistent, needs to look fantastic. When you're doing a social post, don't just grab any old color, any old font and slap it up. And maybe that logo that you put together a couple of years ago, make sure it's always on point. It is highly, highly important for you to do this as well. Consistency is key. The design needs to look amazing. And that's it. Your messaging's got to be on point. And within 3 seconds, it's less. That time is marching down. And there's one of the things as well. Hands in the air, anybody who has got a chat system on their website. Who has chat on their website? Thank you, Alan, Mark, fantastic. Here's the thing. Even if you're not going to answer that, if you've got a system on there, it's the first thing that people are going to go to. It's the first thing that pops up. They will click on that thing and they will reach out. They see it is typically, it looks like a a question bubble from a cartoon. It draws their attention. It follows them around on the website as well. Well, it should, and they will connect out and reach with you as well. Oh my goodness! Now here you are. You're going to dive into your website, and there might be a few platforms out there. A little bit confusing. Which one do you pick? What are these called? They're all called content management systems. There's even more. Okay. Now, what do you need to pick? You need to pick the thing that is going to work best for you. And if you don't know, put your hand up and talk to a professional. Don't be afraid to ask questions. It is brilliant. Okay. So there are some that work incredibly well and some that will work for a time. And then you really should move forward. And of course, including Be Connected World CRM has a website system in that as well, which is incredibly useful as well. Brilliant. So that's it. But you need to know it needs to fit. It needs to work with you and it needs to integrate. We're going to go into that further in a second as well. Alrighty. So let's have a look at this. When you're actually doing things yourself, all right, when you're doing things yourself, you have an idea, you dive in, whoops, that's taking my time, you make mistakes, and then you launch it, and there's either crickets, burnout, or both. And I know clients that have taken almost 2 years to produce a website that by the time they're finished, their business doesn't even look or feel like that anymore, okay? So you really need to strategize. If you're going to do it yourself, there has to be a plan, okay? If you're working with somebody, then it's pretty plain sailing, okay? There's going to be an idea. There's going to be planning. There's going to be strategizing as well, okay? And then you will work through and you will then connect your website, okay? And then you can launch. And then with those connections done, guess what? You're going to show up. That's the most important thing. The amount of times that we work with clients and they've said, I've got this website, but no one can find me. And that's because the simple basic things aren't even connected. You don't even have the Google connections on your website. A lot of people don't. Then they don't know how to use them. But that's another topic for another time. But those connections are vitally important. And just stepping back right in the middle as well, it's got to be designed well. It's got to be developed well so that it's fast, it's efficient, and everything is on there that you need as well. Really, really important. And that whole ethos can be applied to many, many other areas as well, including your social media. So conversion optimization, this sounds like we're going into a lecture, okay? What that means is when people find you, how easy is it for them to give you their details? How easy is it for you then to follow up with them as well, okay? So what are the vital ingredients? Your contact details. Would you believe people have a form on their website, but they don't have their email visible? What if people want to send an email? They don't feel like filling out the form. Okay, have a form. Make sure it's connected to your systems as well. Vitally important. What if you want to book a meeting in with them? Do you have a booking system actually connected to your website as well? I know if I want to book a meeting with Jay, I could book a meeting with Jay. He makes it very, very easy to book a meeting. Okay, and it's the same thing with a number of people here as well. And the first thing that you're going to spot on our website is how to book a meeting with me as well. The amount of people that will want to talk to you, they can find a time and lock it in. They will. Calls to action. That's what CTA stands for as well. So you've got to encourage people to take that next step. Tell them that you can solve their problems, point their problems out to them. Okay, so really, really important. Social proof is a really important thing as well. And these are reviews.
Yeah.
You've got to have reviews.
Yes, Stewie, sorry, can I just stop you? Am I the only one that can't see a screen share here? Can everybody else see Stewie's screen? Then it's me. All right, no worries. Continue. Carry on.
Thank you for checking. Really, really important. Right. Thank you very much. Okay, marching forward. Okay, here we go. Now, we've got all of these systems to analyze everything as well. Okay, so you've got your SEO. You can analyze things from your CRM when it's connected to your website. You've got enterprise systems, OMG, WTF. What are all of these things? Well, look, you need to ask questions. This is vitally important data that is at your fingertips. You can simply get this information just by having it connected. Okay, you can do it yourself. There are a million YouTube videos out there on how to do this. But if you don't know what's going on, it's like covering up your Speedo and wondering why you're getting booked for speeding. Okay. You don't know where's the data. Okay. And not monitoring your numbers. As Jeff said earlier as well, all of these things are vitally important. And the amount of stats, I know Jeff will say, the amount of stats, Jeff Summers, the amount of stats that you can get from Google Business Profile, ridiculously good. It can inform you as to what information you're missing on your Google Business Profile as well. So having data tracked and having those analysis tools at your fingertips is vitally important. You have to know this information as well. You can't put your head in the sand any longer. You have to step it up. Read some books. Get Audible, right? Get Audible and listen to some books and fill your brain full of information. Stop scrolling on TikTok through things that aren't really conducive to your information. Go and there are some amazing apps. There's one called Headway that actually has several books on there broken down. They've got a huge library now broken down into key points. You can learn things in 15 minutes and it will take the highlights from the book. It's amazing. Headway, amazing. I wish they were sponsoring me today. But and the thing is too, Audible, oh my goodness, go and do something inane, like driving. You might be driving. You can listen to the radio, yes, but why not listen to some information and get masterclass? Fill your brain full of information, and you can find information about analysis and go through and work out why it's that important as well. Don't take it from me, take it from all the professionals across the world. Digital tools and systems, Jay is going to be diving right into this as well. All of these things need to be integrated. Speak to people if you're not sure about this. Do some research. That's just some of them, including the Be Connected World CRM as well. Okay, these are all of these systems that are out there. Now, it's horses for courses. You need to investigate and work out what's going to work best for you. But digital tools, including AI, can make life so much easier. Okay, and what we're all about is about human connection, and it can be powered by AI as well. Just the same as Jay is actually right now collating some information. Apparently, it's going to be ready very shortly on the website as well. Brilliant,
it's done. It's done. It's there.
Of course.
So I'm waiting for you to finish.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now, this is the thing too. So Mal's in. Hey, Mal, he's about to dive in. And this is the thing. I use AI all the time. I use it to assist me with things. I take the load away from our admin team with the use of AI. Now, going back to these typical things that happen in a business, siloed information. It's stuck in your email, okay? It's stuck in your head as well, okay, around the communications. Things that are trapped inside your business, you need to connect them together. You can connect them together with great systems. You can connect them together after you get some advice. Speak to Jeff Hetherington about some of these things as well. It is brilliant. Customer details. You want to be able to reach out to that person instantly, get their details and phone them, text them, track all of that information. It's got to be integrated. You need to have your comms, your emails, your finance, your accounting, your customer details. You need to have your website and your socials all connected. It needs to be a digital ecosystem. In the same way that you get a message on your Apple Watch or your Samsung Watch or whatever other watch that you're wearing at the same time as it's showing up on your computer as well, whether it's a Mac or a PC or whatever you're using. Okay, those are a typical example of a digital ecosystem. Things need to work together. Everything needs to be cohesive. It needs to function. You need to integrate your systems. Vitally important. All of these things on the screen here can all be integrated through. And it's going to take the load off you so that you can do what you do best. Let the systems and tools and the AI platforms and the machine learning take the load off of you as well. Vitally, vitally important to have integration in your systems right across the board. And social. Okay, we had a chat before about social media. This is part of your marketing. You need to show up. You need to share, and people will go looking. Okay. Now, your audience might not be on TikTok. Your audience might not be on some of these platforms, but you need to show up. You really do need to put information out there so that you can be found. And the more places that you are listed, the more power that you have to influence people's searches when they go looking for you as well. So you really should have a Facebook, and Instagram. You really need to have these things as well. Okay. And LinkedIn, as we know, vitally important to communicate with businesses. Amazing. Okay. So now Google My Business, we're going to step into this too. So that figure is actually, it's even bigger again. So it was formerly known, I leave this in here because it was formerly known as Google My Business. It's now called a Google Business Profile. So it is vitally important, and it can do things for your shop if you have a shop, if you have an office, and it can also do amazing things for your business if you in fact have regions that you look after as well. Have a Google My Business, it has to be optimized. Again, you can look this up online, and there are amazing businesses out there and people who can help you with this and get everything functioning beautifully for you. You can dominate the search on Google if your Google Business Profile is optimized and you have your map pack organized and set up properly. I won't dive into that because that is all of the details in there. And then, of course, you need to be asking for reviews. How many times have you gone to meet someone for coffee and you've looked up maybe it's midway, maybe you're heading to the Gold Coast, you might be heading to somewhere around Sydney, Melbourne, and you've gone, okay, well, let's meet in the middle at a coffee shop. What do? And you need to work out if they make good coffee, if they've got good service. And then you can actually make sure that your location that you're meeting somebody is going to be a great experience. Now, for your business, ask for reviews. Text people because it's the quickest way to get a review. And if they get stuck, you can help them and sometimes even write reviews for them. Be cheeky. That's a really good way to go through life as well. Be a little bit cheeky, be a little bit, and market your business and ask. Don't forget to ask, okay? Now, we're marching forward. The other thing that people are forgetting to do is have a link, an email signature on their emails. People are forgetting this. It needs to be linked through. That's all the code that actually goes on behind our simple looking email signature there as well. That's why everything that you hover over is connected through to the right place as well. And it's branded and it's got all of our colors in there. And if people want to book a meeting, I can say to them, when you get the email, look for the green book a meeting button and you can book a meeting with me really easily. Super important. Have your phone numbers up to date and have everything there. If it's not clickable, people will actually, they're going to go somewhere else, okay? If you've got an image for your email signature, not good enough. Have images in your email signature, but it's got to be clickable, okay? And these are the things people are forgetting. So write this down and you too can grow your business, okay? So here we go, performance. Okay, well, we've got the E on the other line, but that's okay. So speed of your website, your SSL, your site security, your terms and conditions, your anti-spam on your website. And what about GDPR? Guess what, folks? It's been in America. It's been in England, and very shortly, it's coming to Australia, okay? So that is all about protecting people's data. So look out for that one, all right? So create a legal and security plan. And I know that there are some IT people in the room here right now that are rubbing their hands with glee and saying, yes, that's exactly what you've got to do. You've got to have security, multi-factor authentication. And on your website, you've got to have these things. The amount of people I know that have had their Facebook hacked because they don't have multi-factor authentication, write that down, folks, okay? Multi-factor authentication on your Facebook, on your LinkedIn, so that people can't go in and make you appear untrustworthy, okay? And take your audience that you've spent so long building up as well. Really, really important. Have a security plan, create a legal and a security plan. And of course, you've got to protect your clients' information, vitally important. And this can cause huge legal implications for you if you don't do this. It's the law. You've got to do it. All right. So we're marching forward now as well. And so these are the things. Would you believe legal, accounting, and management services are the highest hit, and the people that have actually got the biggest risk, and the people that are in fact clicking on spoofed emails and phishing emails? It's huge. Okay. But all of them, I'm sure, have a trusted IT business who can protect them and steer them in the right direction, but they are getting hit hard, okay? It's only getting worse. Do not be a statistic, okay? You don't want that at all. So we're moving on to the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for your ears, and we'll be taking questions shortly. So an effective online presence is going to help your business to grow. It's going to provide an online portal for information and communication. You can send people to your website if they would like to learn about Rocket Books. I will post that link shortly in the chat, which is a blog I wrote on that tool and that system that I use as well. It helps build your credibility and trust. It helps you to tell your story and talk about your message. You've got to have consistency. And my goodness, going back to what we were learning before about how to use LinkedIn more efficiently, and this is something that I talk about all the time. You've got to lead with your message. You've got to have a banner that tells people what you do and how you do it. And your profile needs to be set up properly, because that will help attract clients as well. All of these things need to work in harmony. Okay, so now moving forward as well, so you can showcase and sell your products and services. You can do that on LinkedIn. You can have a company page. You can have a featured page. You can do lots of things to send people through to learn more about what you do and how you do it. And also, why not have your systems integrate into your inventory if you're selling products, so that people won't be disappointed, and you can put things on back order and all sorts of things if you've got tangible products. Really, really important. But collecting people's information and having it integrate from your website and everywhere within your online presence is vital. It needs to sing, it needs to work like all of your devices do right now as well. Okay, then you've got, this is it. It's a 24/7 sales team. Your website doesn't go to sleep. Well, it shouldn't. Okay, it then can generate leads for you 24/7, because sometimes business owners might wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and be thinking about things. What do? They'll pick their phone up, they'll start looking, they'll scroll through, they'll see your website, and they'll make an inquiry if they can, and if you've made it easy for them as well. So there we go. Now, customers, clients, my goodness, the amount of people that have come across our path from finding us on LinkedIn. I most recently did some work for Lexus because they knew that we'd worked for Mercedes, and they remembered, and I was memorable at the events that I was working with. They knew who I was. They went onto LinkedIn, they found me, they connected, and we've done some great work with them. I've got some amazing stories about high value clients that have come our way because of people finding us on LinkedIn, connecting and making those referrals and those human connections. Vitally important, okay? But if you don't have these elements, if you're not showing up, guess who's going to get all the work? Your opposition. Not good, okay? So now you can also save time, you can expand your reach, you can relax, okay, knowing that all of your systems are working for you and that your clients will be met with some really, really fantastic ways to reach out and get in touch with you and learn more about what you do, how you do it. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. I know that's been a lot of information. If you've got any questions, I'm more than happy to answer any of them right now. And if they are big questions, we can certainly have a conversation offline as well. So thank you very much for having me today.